This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their Pick 8. Sign up with promo code GOLFSGPN to claim your first special pick and your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code GOLFSGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is loaded up with a ton of picks for the British Open. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, DJs, welcome back at your boy Boston Capper with the God of Golf himself, Steve Shermer, and special guest, Mr. Kenny Kim. Kenny, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, anytime, man. You're, I think you might be on a little delay.
That's all right.
Yeah, I know. I think you guys are. Am I off a little bit here?
A little bit, like oh no, Godzilla.
That's no
Seems
good.
to be okay now.
Now you're good.
Okay.
Is it all right
Yeah,
now?
you're good.
Okay.
So what's going on, man? You stoked for the Open?
Yeah, man. Always. It's one of my favorite tournaments of the year. It was a lot better when I was like a server and I could stay up till 9 in the morning, whatever, and be able to watch it all. Now, I can't really do that, but I did say I was going to work from home on Friday. On Friday, so I have that going for me, at least for the coverage.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I'm always big on getting up early in the morning, making a big breakfast, getting up at like 3 a.m. You're on the East Coast as well. Are you a psychopath who likes to get up at like 2, 3 in the morning, really sweat the early coverage, or do you just kind of, sleep in and then you just open up your phone and you're expecting a nice little surprise, with the leaderboard? What's other little traditions you do for the?
Hey, nowadays with the job I have now, it's a lot more difficult to do, and like my lifestyle also is not like it was before. Maybe like 10 years ago, something like that, I would probably just stay up for all 4 days and be able to watch the event that way. But I can't really do that anymore. So yeah, I get up early anyways for work. So I'll be up early. I don't really have any things that I do like every year, lately, except just sitting my lazy ass, not shower, and just fucking sit in my underwear and watch golf for as long as I can once I wake up. That's probably what's going to have to happen this weekend.
There you go. Capper, what about you? Do you have any traditions?
I'm the one who stays up late. I try to power through. I'm up drinking. I try to make it till about 3:30, 4 in the morning. I wake up and he gets my text when he wake up, and then when I wake up at like 8 o'clock, I'll get all of Steve's updates and I'll catch up that way. Yeah, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing on Friday. I'm too old, man. I can't not even just the boozing, just the sleep now. If I'm up super late, it takes me fucking days to recover. It's awful. It's all you young bucks out there. It's true what all the other old men told me.
I know I haven't really slept in about 5 years having young kids, so I'm just used to get up at 3 in the morning. And even before that, though, it is a nice intersection where Capper just sending me incoherent, angry text messages at 1:32 in the morning about golfers. And then we kind of, convene a little bit, have a little conference call for about a half hour, and then he finally goes to bed. And then I end up sweating the rest of the Open. So, but let's transition to that real quick. So we are at Royal Troon Golf Club. You got the 2016 Open. Most recently, Henrik Stenson won that. Let me ask you, Kenny. So that 2016 Open, you had two guys really separate themselves from the field. So it's kind of hard to kind of take away anything from it because, they made it look completely easy while the rest of the field just really struggled. So I guess what were some of the takeaways when looking back at that tournament you had? And then how are you trying to maybe use that to formulate some handicapping and how you're targeting golfers for this year's Open Championship?
It's tough because, the thing about 2016 is if you think about it, it's still 8 years ago, and the equipment and the technology and everything that's changed in that time has just made golf a little bit different than it was, just a few years back. For me personally, like the driver used to be the worst club in my bag, and that was a driver I got like 10 years ago. I just got a brand new TSR2, Titleist, whatever, spent a rack of money. It's become my best club, my most consistent club. I didn't change my swing, right? And that's me as a shitty ass 15 handicap, right? And so the technology that these guys have, when you look back at that event, it played tough. outside of Stenson and Phil, right? I mean, the cut was +4. There was like, 85 on Sunday. The wind picked up a little bit. It was some wild scoring there. So, I mean, the course played difficult. I mean, only 32 golfers were under par in the last two iterations of this event at Royal Troon, if you count Todd Hamilton's here in 2004. So, I mean, the course seems to play tough. It seems like you need accuracy, but nowadays with these guys, you just don't know. I mean, you're hearing stuff about Bryson hitting it, 400 yards on 16, and like, why wouldn't you do that? Especially when the fairway hit percentage is like 57%. Like, it was probably even lower than that in 2016. I'm going back to 2004 numbers. It was probably lower than that in 2016. So if everyone's going to miss the fairways anyways, why not just try and bomb it out there? And that's just my thinking of the way it could. I don't know if it's going to play that way. I don't know. Everyone's saying, it's going to be a test of accuracy. You got to hit a bunch of fairways. But on that back nine, if you're hitting like iron or hybrid, you're going to have like 300 yards on your approach shots. I mean, like, that's just the way it's going to be. It's crazy. So I'm targeting accurate and I'm targeting elite off the tee distance, both. So that's just one part of what I'm looking at this year that might be a little bit different than what it was in 2016. Because, I mean, if you just look at it based upon then, I mean, there weren't that many bombers. There's really hardly any bombers that pepper the top 10 routinely at this event. But I just got a feeling, especially on that front nine, people are going to hit that driver long. You're going to have flip wedges on the back nine. You have to hit driver if the wind is going to be blowing. Or you're going to have crazy shots from 250 plus. Into the wind. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun to watch. I really want to watch Bryson. I really want to see what Bryson and Rory do this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going back to 2016, it is interesting because, the winds were the opposite of what they usually are. Everybody's been talking about the first 6 or 7 holes. You really got to get it. That's where birdies are. Usually it's downwind. Well, in 2016, the wind was coming from the south, which actually the first 2 days, it's going to be that wind again. So it's going to be a little different as far as what he usually plays. So, but I agree with you as far as, when we went over all the holes with Google Earth, I showed Boston Capital over here where Stenson hit it, where Phil hit it, and they were very conservative. They were tiptoeing around the property. Obviously you have the rough at Troon is thicker than what is some other Open Championship venues. And you have a lot of gorse as well. Kind of like last year, if you hit it in a pop bunker, it's a 1-stroke penalty. But a lot of what we were looking back in 2016 was guys, they couldn't be aggressive on the first 6 holes because they can't carry certain bunkers. They can't carry the burn on 3. They can't do any of this stuff. So, and what we were wondering was, as is with how they've, technology has advanced, if they get that downwind, can they be more aggressive? I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I didn't tend to worry too much about off the tee because I'm not going to try and predict what certain guys are going to do. But I do still think there is going to be a penalty for missing the fairway. There isn't a whole lot of, there's wide fairways or relatively wide fairways, but once you get a little bit off of it, it does get very hairy pretty quickly. Obviously, you got some out of bounds on the property. You got the gorse. So I do think there is going to be a premium, hitting fairways because everything is right out in front of you. And Phil and Stenson did show that you can be conservative, not hit driver a ton and still get to 20 under, something ridiculous. Todd Hamilton even just hit hybrid everywhere, but that was 2004. But I mean, who's to say Rory and Bryson don't just have the driving weeks of their life and just shorten the golf course, and that's going to be a wrap. So, we'll see. I kind of just took a central theme about the guys I picked this week. I'm going to go with it. C'est la vie, is what it is. Capper, what about you? What types of players did you target?
Yeah, I mean, accurate off the tee, right? Like, Rory terrifies me. If it wasn't for the emotional baggage with him, like, he hits it long and straight, long and straight, long and straight, long and straight. And he's a good wedge player. Like, we just have, he's not as good as some of these other guys. And I think we just see so many of his fucking wedge shots, and so it gets imprinted in our brain that he's not a great wedge player because he sticks at 15 to 20 feet when we see him on Sunday sometimes. He really terrifies me this week. Scott, like all the big dogs scare me, man. They all do the same fucking thing good, right? Xander, Scotty, Rory, they all hit the ball straight, fucking long, and their wedge games are obviously world class. Like it's one of those weeks where like I feel good with like some of my bets, but at the same point I'm like, I don't have any of the top guys. Like this is another lunch money week. I can feel it. Like, I look 30-1, boy, 50-1, good value, and it doesn't fucking matter because Scotty or Rory or Xander is gonna come push me down on the sidewalk, take my brown bag, and tell me to go fuck myself. And then all my casual friends who bet golf only on the majors are gonna cash their 4-1 and fucking walk along and be happy. And we're gonna be like, it was too short of a number. It's the worst. The sport is the worst.
We are snobs about a lot of stuff because if you hit like a 6-1 football parlay, you're just celebrating. You're feeling great. If it's 6-1 here, like you get shamed.
I still think about with my buddy who now he's into the golf betting, but like when he first started, I don't know, it was like an 8-1 who won. He's like, "Did you bet that?" I was like, "No, the number was too short." He's like, "Too fucking short? Don't you like to win money?" And I was like, "Fuck you, man." But now he's doing like 3 balls in the morning and fucking. I got him all methed out with the golf.
Yeah, he's all hooked. So Kenny, I want to ask you about the weather though. So obviously Scotland, unpredictable weather. Seems like the forecast is really all over the place. This week, I went to Windfinder. I saw one forecast that saw heavy winds in the morning, calming down in the afternoon. And then I went to their super forecast and said a little calmer in the morning, heavier winds in the afternoon. So are you taking weather a little bit into consideration? Are you trying to guess the wave split, or are you just going to throw your hands in the air and say, you know what, say la vie, whatever happens? Happens.
It looks like there's some type of difference on Friday, but again, I could change. I wish it was on Thursday. It would make it easier, right? Because then you could wait Wednesday. You're teeing off in 6 hours. I can maybe rely on that, right? But I mean, like I think Thursday looks similar throughout the day, and then Friday right now, from what I'm seeing, is lower winds in the morning, heavier winds in the as the day goes on. And it's sort of typical for links golf and seaside courses. Usually the wind picks up as the day goes on normally on courses like that. So, I mean, just looking at it, I just did like a little sweep on tee times and stuff. And so if that is the way it's going to go, I mean, you're losing like, Rory and Hovland and, a bunch of those guys who play late on Tuesday or late in the second round. And then you got Scheffler, you got Morikawa, you get Koepka in that earlier morning. They start probably around like 9 o'clock tee time when they get off Eastern, or no, at least their time. Right. So who knows? I mean, I will use it as a tiebreaker for certain, like for DFS purposes and stuff like that. But, unless you see something in the first round at this event, it's really hard to judge anything, based after that. So if it looks sort of, even on the first round, then you just got to play who you got to play and hope it breaks in your favor as the week goes on, I think. But if you see something in the first round, and you make your bets late or your DFS lineups late, then maybe that's something to go on.
I think for as far as like the first round on a Thursday goes, like you said, unless it's a huge wave split. I mean, think about how many times we've gotten it wrong too. Down here in my neck of the woods, we got the PGA, we got the Players Championship wrong. We thought that it was going to be one way, then they stopped play, and everybody who was in that wave that we thought was going to get the benefit got completely fucked and wiped out. It happens all the time. For like first round leaders and like first round bets, I mean, it's gonna be cold in the morning, right? So some of these soft ass PGA players, especially guys who live down here in Florida, gonna be up to Scotland. They're gonna be wearing. So one image that will always stick with me, which makes no sense. When I was at the Players one morning, it was probably like 55 degrees, maybe. Victor Hovland had these giant fucking mittens on when he wasn't hitting, when he wasn't playing, and I was like,
the other mitts.
I was like, what the fuck, man? I was like, you're Norwegian. This is 55 degrees in Florida. I was like, God, like, I don't know. That really, that made me go away from him for a significant period of time. And so I can just imagine some of these other these soft motherfuckers up in Scotland and getting an early tee time and being a little too cold for him, just a little too cold. And so I think the first round leader, those like, just like you do in DFS Kenny, the like the little 2-hour waves, right? Like it's not gonna be a full wave split because it goes off all day. Grab a couple 2-hour wave guys and go maybe between like 9 and 11 their time tee off and see if you can cash first round leader. There's some juicy names in there too. And my book is going to try to bankrupt me because they're offering top 5, top 10, and top 20 first round leaders this week. So I'm going to lose a lot of money on Thursday. So.
The cold weather gear, just getting back to that, some of the stuff they wear is pretty ridiculous. Like I remember watching the CJ Cup over when they had it actually in Korea. Like it was actually appropriate to have the CJ Cup. Now they're just moving all over the world. But I remember Scott Piercy had a Titleist hat, but he had the flaps over his ears. It looks so dumb. Like what? But all right. Well, why don't we get to the game? So obviously you got the golf tips chart. Thank you, Kenny, for being a good guest and not looking at the chart here. Yep. So every week it compiles all the picks of anyone who wants to put out golf picks and is giving out a top 8 picks for the chart this week for the Open Championship. There are 8 names on it. So if you haven't listened before, it's the first time watching, Kenny and Boston Capper, they're going to go back and forth, trying to guess who is on the list, who is going to be the most popular picks this week at the Open Championship. Kenny, as you are our distinguished guest, you are going to go first. So why don't you get the first guess? Who is one of the top 8 most popular outright bets this week for the Open Championship?
Morikawa.
Colin Morikawa, 16-1, is number 3.
Damn.
On the chart this week. I'm actually surprised it's not number 1. In a lot of expert columns I've seen, seems like Morikawa is like the de jour pick.
That being number 3 sort of screws with my head because I definitely thought it was going to be number 1. I did not expect that one to be number 3. Okay.
All
right.
I think I got number 1. It's got to be Flaccid Fleetwood, right? We're over in England. It's links. He looked okay in Scotland. Everybody loves to lose money on Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood, not on the list.
What?
No. Has been playing well enough, I think. He was very popular last week, and he was – I mean, I had a top 20 bet on him.
Yeah.
And he was firmly entrenched in it going into the Sunday, and he's just awful. So the form just hasn't been good.
I stink.
So you are bad at this game. So, all right, Kenny, up to you. 7 more names on the list. Who's the next one?
Finau.
Tony Finau, number 2 on the list at 40-1. You are rolling right now with this. Yeah, Finau, I think that was the guy that we both identified before the week started, and then I think everybody picked Finau.
Yeah, I bet him Saturday, so I don't care. Whatever. I'm living and dying with it. I go with what the game tells me to bet.
Okay. All right. You have number 2 and number 3 picked right now. Boston Capper, pick another guy.
All right. So if the narrative is short, well, not short, but accurate off the tee, good approach game, in good form, about Tom Kim.
Tom Kim, number 1 most picked this week.
Let's go. I didn't think he'd be number 1. I didn't think he'd be number 1.
You're surprised at that. Why are you surprised by that?
I mean, I'm not. I didn't think he'd be number 1.
No.
What did he play last week? Right? And I guess he did finish top 15. He had a really good Sunday.
And he started out poorly. I thought it was either Thursday or Friday. He had a pretty bad round, and he made a good charge over the weekend.
I actually had him as my fade of the week last week, and it was looking good until the final round. I think it was 43rd going into Sunday. And then he had that, crazy final round because I didn't like the fact that the course was going to be wet and it was going to be so long. This one, you're going to get a little bit more roll and the accuracy plays a little bit more. I guess I could see it. Yeah. He didn't make my card. The 2 that I spoke of are in my card. So there you go.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about them a lot because they also might be on my card a couple times later on. So, all right. Who gets that up? Yep. All right, Kenny's back up to you. We have we got the top 3 names already off the board. So 4 through 8. Who are you picking?
Hatton.
Yeah,
Hatton, number 5 on the list this week. Playing very well, coming in very hot. Checking a couple boxes of things I'm looking for this week. So that doesn't surprise me at all. that he's on the list. So, all right, Capper, back to you.
All right. So a whole bunch in that range right there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be somebody near the top of the board. Nobody's going to go back to Ludwig. Morikawa has already been there. I don't think people are going to think Bryson's going back to back. What about Rahm at that 25-1 number, right? Like we in this community love to get great value on a number. Maybe Rahm at 25.
You guys are killing it with this. He's the number 4 pick.
We got 1 through 5. Let's go.
Yep, with only 1 strike, used 2. So, all right, here we go. All right, the next 3 though, I don't know. I think 2 names are pretty obvious. 1 guy is pretty out there. So, Kenny, we'll go back to you. We got 6, 7, and 8 available. Take your pick.
Usti?
Louis Oosthuizen, number 8 on the list.
Oh, nice.
66-1. I saw him at 100-1, and then Data Golf released the projections and had him at something crazy like 55-1, and then all the books panicked and immediately bumped him down to like 50, 60-1. So, but yes, one of the most popular picks this week is Louis. Obviously, a great Open Championship track record, playing pretty well over on Live. Makes sense. So, all right, 6 and 7 are left. Capper, go with them. Let's go with that.
All right, so we got Louis as a Live guy. I don't think he's. All right, I'll go with. No, he stinks. We'll go. We'll go with Cam Smith.
Cam Smith, strike 2, not on the list. Okay. All right, Kenny, back over to you. We got 2 guys left. It's tough.
Cam Young.
Cam Young, not on the list. Strike 1. Okay. Capper, you're down to your last strike. Come on, guys.
Right.
You're doing so good.
I know. So I wonder if there's somebody down the board. We'll just scroll here. And then we burned everybody. I mean, all these guys are fucking losers.
All right, come on, pick.
Well, all right, Aaron Rai. Fuck it. Aaron Rai.
Aaron Rai, not on the list. Apparently, people are just not convinced that mega hot Aaron Rai, who doesn't have, I think, a top 20 in a, or no, he does have a top 20 in major at the U.S. Open, but no, he is not on the list. All right, Kenny, you got 2 more strikes available to you.
Sungjae?
Sungjae is not on the list. That's
Man.
strike 2 for you. You got 1 more available.
I don't know, man. Bhatia.
Akshay, number 6 on the list.
All right.
People think he might pull a Morikawa, first Open Championship, coming in red hot. Hasn't played in a couple weeks though, but looks really good in the stats page. So I can understand why he's a popular pick. All right, come on, Kenny, you got 1 more on the list. It's a tough one.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott's not on the list. Strike 3.
Ah.
This last one was surprising. It's Wyndham Clark at 66-1.
It's
only 'cause
he's
of
in
the
my
number.
card. I should have just went with my card.
Because he's on your card. Okay. I mean, he had a great Sunday to charge up the leaderboard.
Kenny had a funny ass tweet. He picked him on a round 4 matchup because what happened the night before, and Wendy's a huge Trump guy, so he went out and shot a 62 after.
I didn't make that tweet, but that sound whatever.
Was it
worked.
you?
No, but I did say that he was my favorite play on Sunday because of what I
Okay.
saw the first 3 rounds. It wasn't
Okay.
assassination attempt, it wasn't because of that. It was not because of that. But it was. But he was my favorite play. He was an underdog play, and he won me a good chunk of change on underdog.
So
Sunday.
I just put those 2 things together. Sorry, Kenny.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it was a pretty big story. So yeah.
Now, Kenny, are you a believer that, because not many guys who have been on the chart this year have cashed, but I think 2 of the last 3 weeks have cashed. Are you a believer about that being cursed at all, or do you just not care?
Nah,
I feel at majors, it's usually someone that's chalk. You know what I'm saying? Usually, what was it? Bryson, Xander, Scheffler. I mean, they had to have been all top 10 most bet golfers for those 3 events. I mean, you go back to but it is the Open Championship. We saw Harman last year with 140 to 1.
Yeah.
Win this thing, and there's a couple of guys out there, with numbers that I think they can have a chance, but I would suspect that it would be, someone in this top 10 most voted, most bet on, I would guess, because that's usually the way it goes with these majors.
Yeah, I mean, I just think everybody puts more time and energy and resources into this stuff. Like, I know I broke down this golf course a lot harder than I do, like, I don't know, Detroit Golf Club. So as far as going in the weeds with it, that theory does make sense. I did have in my notes though from last year, because I didn't have a very good Open, that chalk gets murdered at the Open in bold text. I don't think I really followed that strategy though. So we will see.
What did you mean? So were you referring to DFS? Because we were still doing DFS the last couple of years.
It was everything. It was DFS. It was like popular positional bets or outright bets, and maybe just last year was just kind of weird. And because
the worst Open of my lifetime. Brian goddamn Harman winning a fucking Open. I was
by like 6 strokes or some shit. Right?
Oh, it's awful.
Like it was just over on Sunday.
That was over after Friday. I mean, that was the worst part. You had Brian Harman, and he was up 5 after Friday. And then we're hoping maybe Tommy Fleetwood can finally do this. And no, just showed his true colors.
Him and his stupid waggle. Oh, God, that waggle.
I know.
And that's why I said poor Victor stuck with him in a group. For Thursday, Friday, Vic hates that pace of play shit. He's going to be going out of his fucking mind.
Oberg's with Bryson and Tom Kim.
I know. Yeah, if Ludwig didn't like the pace of play at the Scottish Open, he's not going to like Tom Kim staying over the ball for 30 seconds. Bryson,
but that Tom Kim thing seemed new, man. Because
here's the thing. He said it's new.
Yeah.
He said in some interview that he's taking more time, especially when it comes to putting and stuff like that. So. Okay. Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, when he was in contention a couple weeks ago, I didn't even notice on Saturday, but it changed on Sunday a lot. I think it's when it comes down to it and he's under pressure more, I think he's taking a lot more time.
Oh yeah, because I had Kim. You had him too, right, Steve?
I had him.
For outright.
Yes,
Scottish. No, I did not have Kim.
No, not Scottish. When he lost to Scotty in the playoff.
No, I don't have him for positional.
No. Yeah, so I did, and it was I was like, Jesus Christ, please God, just hit the ball. Like, you're stressing me out, man. Like, I got money on you. You can't stand over the ball for that long. Yeah. I at least 3 times I hit my button thinking YouTube TV froze.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you watched him on Saturday, he wasn't that bad.
No.
It was just that Sunday, jitters, and the guys are young. They're still trying to figure out how to get through those. He's 22 years old. Same with Oberg. Everyone's giving shit for Oberg everyone's giving shit to Oberg for having a shitty Sunday or a bunch of shitty Sundays, and these guys are young, man. They're gonna figure it out at some point in time, or they're gonna be Rory at the majors. We'll see. But I mean, you have to let them work through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just you get frustrated in the moment because you see the guy blow a lead, and you see another guy in your card blow a lead as well, and you say some very mean things about these guys that you don't actually mean.
Steve jumped on the group text and was like, Capper is never betting Ludwig again. I was like, I just got out of the shower and I was just about to type you that.
I felt that way for about an hour after I took my kid to the playground to try and cool off. So.
But then I cashed Bobby Mack on the luckiest of luck box fucking drop rules of all time. I'm not allowed to complain about anybody else's lucky drop for at least a year after that.
No, you're not. You're not.
Because I would have lost my fucking mind if I did not have Bobby Mack and my guy lost because of that.
Yeah. All right, let's actually talk about the top of the odds board. Let's just start here with Scotty and Kenny. So before the U.S. Open, a lot of people were just preordaining Scotty. Obviously, he was molten hot at that time. You go into Pinehurst where there was a very fine margin between good shots and bad shots. Iron play was going to be put at a premium, and a lot of people were just saying, well, Scotty's just naturally going to win the U.S. Open. And, he fell flat on his face. Then he came back the following week, won the Travelers. Took a month off, though. But we come to Royal Troon where, we talk about playing it safe, accuracy, playing smart. And, that's kind of a Scotty Scheffler style. So are you terrified of Scotty Scheffler, or are you just not, or are you looking back at what happened at the U.S. Open saying, you know what, maybe we were overreacting a little bit. He's not the big bad that we really think he is.
I mean, like you said, he came back the next week and won, right? I mean, so yeah, I'm worried about him. Of course, it's Scotty. He's been having an unbelievable year. He's had 6 wins already this season and a major, and how many runner-ups, and all this other stuff. I mean, yes, I'm definitely worried about him. I'm definitely worried because, of course, should suit his game. Now, and he's actually in, if the weather forecast right now is correct that I've seen, he's in a really good time slot to tee off on Friday also. So it seems like everything's stacking up to be, good for Scotty. So, of course, I'm worried. He could just come out here and do his thing. Now, the one thing about him, which is why he didn't like Pinehurst, was because he never really knew. He's always so smart and articulate about like where he's supposed to miss, right? He knows like I have to miss here. I have to miss here. If I miss here, I'll have a good shot. I'll probably have a decent lie, stuff like that. I'm not going to be in some crazy bunker. Well, I mean, first off, you're not going to see some of these bunkers off the tee. Now, he has Ted Scott on the bag. I'm sure he's going to be fine with that. But, when it comes to missing a fairway here or there, left or right, without any bunkers in play, and you're dealing with rough that you don't know whether you're going to, get a good or bad lie. It's pure luck. I think that's what it sort of gets in his head. When he off the tee a little bit, and you can see him, his misses that snap hook, which is not going to be great this week at all.
Yeah. I mean, I that last point you made, as far as when things are just not normal, like normal American golf, like, your uniform, ryegrass rough, your perfectly manicured bunkers, like all of that stuff. It does seem like Scotty does go on tilt when things just get a little weird and things are just not as straightforward. And that's my concern about Scotty this week, as far as, a couple of these tee shots, especially on the back nine, you can't really see the fairway. You can't see what you're hitting towards. So, Capper, I showed you that picture where you're just hitting over a giant sandhill and you're basically looking at a gorse bush. Like, that's your target. And, there are some runoffs at some of these greens, kind of like with Pinehurst, also with these pop bunkers, if everything funnels back to it. So, and you can get a really bad lie there. So I'm not as afraid of Scotty as I think I was before maybe the PGA or the Masters. Those are more typical American style golf courses. Pinehurst was definitely not a traditional U.S. Open venue or type of golf course. This one, more links golf course. And we've seen Scotty go over to the Open Championship, and I've seen him go on tilt as far as, how the greens are rolling, his ability to make putts. Saw last year Royal Liverpool, saw the year before that St. Andrews. He just completely imploded over the weekend. Maybe just something with these slower greens kind of gets at him. So I'm not all that worried about him this week. If he wins, c'est la vie, but I'm definitely not as afraid as I was, earlier in the season. If this was, I think, Royal St. George's, which is a little more straightforward, I think I probably would be a little more afraid. And that's actually, I think, his best Open finish was at Royal St. George's. But this one is definitely quirky and weird in some places. With the wind, it's going to be unpredictable. I think that might end up getting to Scotty. So I'm not all that afraid of him. Capper, what about you?
I'm terrified of Scotty. He hits the ball long and straight. He fucking chips in from fucking everywhere. He's stolen my money 3 times this year with us. I had second place guys. I have scar tissue. It's just, he terrifies me. If he's lurking on the leaderboard, I'm not stressed out, Him and his other nerd buddy Burns played Bedminster this week. So I'm sure that was a great time on the course. That must be super fun golfing with those 2 stiffs. The
Bible study, in between shots.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fellowship.
So I think he got over here late, but he's playing a little bit. I don't know, man. Listen, it's stupid to fucking write Scotty off. If it's about long and straight and accurate
around the green.
Yeah, it's Scotty, I get what you're saying as far as the Open goes and things like that, but I don't know. I got too much. He's stolen too much money from me this year for me not to be scared of him.
All right. Well, I'll just put that on my tombstone then by the end of Sunday when I have, 4 guys that I bet in the top 10 and Scotty ends up winning kind of what happened to players. So, all right, let's talk about the rest of the guys, like how about 20-1 or better. So Kenny, you mentioned that was Morikawa on your betting card this week. You bet him outright. I think
I got him Sunday. Okay. Luckily,
okay.
I got him at Sunday at 20-1 and I took the each way because I am scared of Scotty, and the each way saved my butt this whole season. I've had 23 each way hits this year, so that's saved me. I have 5 outrights, but the each ways have saved me, and I'm just going to keep on rolling with that. And I had Morikawa at 20-1 already on my card. He's supremely accurate. He's got the new set of irons again, just like he did before he won a couple of years ago when he couldn't hit an iron off the turf. Supposedly, and then he went out there and just won with the new irons, good karma, stuff like that. And the guy's been top 10, top 15, like every event since March. He's due for, if anyone's due, he's due, and he's playing well. He's a 2-time major champion, 20-1, even 16-1 right now. You could probably still get him with 3 places on a certain site for 20-1 right now.
Okay.
You can call it. We don't have a sports book, so you can say whatever it is if you want.
All right, Bet365. Bet365 has that 3 place each way, and right now the 3 places is 22-1.
There you go. Nice.
Pretty good.
So, all right. Well, Capper, you said that on Sunday you were kind of goading me, saying I was just going to go back to Morikawa like a stooge, even though he massively disappointed me like Ludwig on Sunday. Yes, I am going back to Morikawa because this was how I set my betting card. I talked a lot about how I look back at recent Open champions. All of them were trending with their irons. All of them were starting to ride a hot putter. And I kind of just took a blind resume approach to everybody. I didn't really care who I ended up landing on. And I have been a lot of losers, guys. I probably wouldn't ordinary embarrassed, but I'm just going to stick with this. And Morikawa is one of those guys that has been riding a really good putter and a really good irons for the last couple months.
Short game, not bad.
Putt over 10 feet on fucking Sunday.
What's that?
Not a single putt over 10 feet on Sunday. How is that a hot putter?
I mean, he still gained a bunch of strokes putting.
That's why strokes gain. Fuck it. If you don't make a single putt over 10 feet, you're not riding a hot putter.
Listen, I'm sticking to my system. So, I mean, a lot of things went wrong for Morikawa. His irons also went away.
Yeah,
he said some really terrible irons.
Because there was a crowd, Steve. There was a crowd there, and he cannot win in front of people.
Oh, okay.
Fake majors.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of people in Japan in the middle of the night, but because it was the middle of the night, so I guess it doesn't count there. But
yeah, it only counts if Keegan does it. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I also got the 20-1 on Morikawa. I was happy with that price. Again, I'm just gonna. I am still a little concerned about his ability to do well when the weather gets bad. He's had some good performances in bad weather this year. That was not really the case before this year. Yeah, you get a little worried about how he hits that high fade sometimes and he gets caught up in the wind and balloons, and you can get really punished if you miss short right. So I am a little concerned about that, but I'm just going to go with what I've been seeing with Open champions, regardless of who the name is, regardless of any other reservations I have, and these on my betting card. So, Cabra, did you bet anybody under 20-1?
No.
Okay.
I'm an idiot.
All right.
I pick losers.
There you go. Kenny, did you have anybody else under 21, or can we move on to the next range?
No, that's the only one.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to between 20 and 50-1. Kenny, who are some of the names that you bet outright in this range?
So I went ahead and took Brooks.
Okay.
All right. Talk me into Brooks, man. I've been staring at him.
Here's the thing. It's just an investment. I don't even give a fuck what major it is. So I started betting on him at the Masters, right? So if he's normally 25-1, right? That's basically where his number normally is for most majors, right? So if you bet the same amount for every single major for the next 5 years, that's 20 majors, right? If he wins once, you make your money back. If he wins twice, you double your money. And so in my mind, the most prolific major winner of our era, still with his youth, still in his prime, can get 1 or 2 majors in the next 5 years, right?
All right.
And so, just
All
from an investment point of view, I bet Brooks every major now. That's just the way
I can
I'm gonna go about
100%
it.
get behind some harebrained fucking betting scheme like that. I
Yeah,
fucking love it.
It's just
Love it.
it's just automatic money in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
already spending it. He's already won.
Yeah.
He's already hit
Yeah.
6 majors. Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
So I mean, I think he's going to get to 8, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In his
Wow,
career,
you're gonna be fucking rolling.
and I think he's going to get 2 at least in the next 5, and then 1 when he's a little bit older. And so I just make it as an investment. Brooks Koepka is my major championship investment every single time he tees it up for a major.
So what number did you get him at?
I got him at 35, but with 8 places. It was 40 with 5.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him dip into the 40s. And I think Capper, I said that if he was going to dip in the 40s, I might consider it.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrified of that Kiowa situation where he dipped to like 45 to 1. And then he got up to like 3 birdies and 4 holes. And I panic bet him at like 18 to 1 after that. Because I love Brooks. I'm a big Brooks guy. I didn't get there. It didn't really fit the theme for me this week. I want to make a case for Brooks because I feel like he's a guy who, when you get him on golf courses, you got to play just smart, conservative, try not to get in trouble. You know, he can thrive on these types of venues, and he's been pretty good in the opens before. His irons.
It's the putter. It's the putter. Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just saw 70 to 1.
70
on Brooks?
70 to 1 with 3 places.
Where?
Bet 365 right now. 70 to 1.
Steve, I wish you didn't tell me that.
I'm looking at it right now. 70 to 1 with 3 places. But you have to bet the 3 places. So you're going to have to double your bet. Whatever you want for your outright, you're going to have to pay twice. So right now, 70 to 1.
I still don't understand how the each way works. So if I wanted to put 50 on the outright at 70 to 1, I'd have to put
your total bet's going to be 100.
Okay.
That's it.
And they get like a fifth of the
and then for you'll get a fifth for the 3 to 1. When you do 5 to 1, you get a quarter. So it's not the best value for the each way, but you're getting an insane outright. You're getting 70 to 1 right now.
You have that 365, right? Or do they leave your state?
I do not have that in New York State, actually. I don't think it's one of the books. If it is, I'm going to jump on it because I've wanted to be on that book, but I don't think they are available in New York, unfortunately.
So my buddy Pete just texted me, and this is for Pete as well as who's listening. Kenny's investment scheme, he definitely could have been on the annuity team with me with that explanation. He could have been slinging annuities.
It's the most prolific major winner of our time.
I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not going to do it.
So I can get
that's so tempting, but
I can get Brooks at 40, and he was at 30 fucking at the start of this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got him at 35 with 8 places, but yeah, if I saw that before, I could probably cash out and put all of it on there and still, if it comes out, but I'd rather take the 8 places. I'm not going to go greedy on that, but yeah, you can get him 70 to 1.
Okay. All right. Capper, what about you? Who have you bet in this range between like 20 and 50 to 1?
So I bet Finau on Saturday, literally the second we were done with the show and we were done with the game. And like you said, it did the last 3 major winners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we do it in an elimination game, and the guys at the end were the ones who wound up winning the major.
And we ignored them because we're idiots.
And we ignored it because we're stupid. So,
so I'm not ignoring it. I bet Tony Finau. The best number I could get him at was 30 to 1. I didn't care. I just bet him 30 to 1 on Saturday night at whatever. Dude, it was like a 2-hour preview, Kenny. We went Google Earth, Steve was showing me every mound of every goddamn hole. It was a beautiful thing. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was hammered. I was like, all right, let's go. Fuck it. Tony Finau, C-note, 30 to 1 . Let's go.
You should have waited till Monday morning.
Yeah, because
I'm in Florida. It doesn't fucking matter. It's still 30 to 1 in Florida.
Okay.
Hard Rock, the Seminole tribe are fucking worse than the Gambino family. They are crooks, absolute crooks. Like the numbers they hang are criminal. The juice is ridiculous. We need some more. We need some more competition down here.
The Seminole Indians are the wealthiest ethnicity in the United States or world per person.
That makes sense. I mean, they're making money hand over fist with the casino
because they share everything with their whole entire tribe. Supposedly.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, I love the casinos. I just don't like the sports book.
I got him 40-1. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on Tony. I got him 41, 8 places. I think you can get him 45 right now, possibly, or I don't, or something like that. Again, that 3 place each way is just wild. It's almost like a sucker type deal because I mean, god damn it, 71 for Brooks is making me rethink everything in life.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, of course. So other than him, I bet Hatton. Same reason, right? Like he should be good at these fucking opens. He's playing awesome right now. He's one of my favorite people on the entire planet. So yeah, give me Hatton and give me him screaming cunt and fuck and everything else every time he hits a halfway decent shot. Never mind when he hits a terrible shot. So yeah, I love Hatton. I think his game should be here. He's just a temperament, man. Like, and he seems to have mostly have controlled that, right? You get a little older, get a little bit each year, right? You get a little less fiery. So I love Hatton. I think the numbers right. I think it's very fair. So I bet that. I thought it was going to drop and stayed. So,
all right, Kenny, Brooks and Finau between 20 and 51. Anybody else in this range that you bet?
Nope. Those were the only 2 in that range. I have Finau. Yep. All my other ones are 50-1 or better.
Okay. All right. So I also bet Hatton. Fits the theme of guys who are starting to hit their irons better and putt better. I mean, obviously these are just
he's long and straight off the tee too.
He's not long, but he's straight, and he's been driving it.
Long
he
enough.
Can drive it pretty good. But I mean, I think with Hatton, I've been waiting for him to start popping at majors again and starting to get in the mix. You know, that top 10 he had at the Masters this year was a little bit backdoory. He had a really good Sunday, but he was definitely in the mix at Pinehurst for most of the weekend. Just had a really
and then
bad
Sunday
Sunday.
He ejected.
Right, but
Hatton then too.
But I always make a bookmark of those types of things in my mind, just saying, okay, at least you were in the mix. You got a little taste of it. So I'm okay with it. And just, again, fits the theme for me of trending with their irons and putter. You know, you got the top 10 at Troon, 8 years ago. Honestly, even if he didn't have that, I still would like Hatton. Also bet Finau just because, it was part of the game. His putter has been a lot better. I don't love the fact he took a month off, but Jordan Spieth also took a month off and then ended up winning the Open, so it can be done. So I wish he played the Scottish. I don't know why he didn't want to play a Tom Doak that was driver heavy because he's won there that type of golf course before, whatever. They interviewed him today, though. He looked ready, though. I liked how he was talking on the range. So do that. And then, all right, Capper, I don't want to hear any crap.
No, if you bet Cantlay, did you bet Cantlay?
I bet Cantlay 50.
You fucking loser.
Again, I know this could be a loser pick. It probably is a loser pick. I am going and sticking my guns. He started to figure out with the irons. He started to figure out with the putter. And God damn it, if he could contend at fucking Pinehurst on Bermuda on firm conditions, I mean, I no longer can say like he's not a course fit for something. So again, I just am sticking my guns. If there's probably last week before I had this little, I guess, mission statement, I would not have picked him, but I'm just going to go with it. 51 Cantlay. I know it's gross, but Brian Harmon's gross. Zach Johnson was gross. Shane Lowry was even kind of gross.
Stupidest human being.
So we're going with that. So, all right. Let's go.
Steve.
I know it's
just
gross.
Just tisk.
I know it's gross.
For any of you old people who remember Dana Carvey as the nun, as the church lady on Saturday Night Live as a kid.
All right. Can we just hit on a couple of other guys? Maybe we didn't bet them outright, but just like positional. Capper, how about Cam Smith, your boy? Any interest in him for a positional, anything like that?
No, man. So like the more and more I thought about this, so I know we'll get to Wyndham on the next one because Kenny said he had him on his card, but I keep having these nightmares of what he does off the tee and in these gorse bushes and the big misses that he has. And even if he clubs down, like, I don't know. I mean, look, Cam Smith, I love Cam Smith, but I just couldn't get behind it. I was hoping the number would be a little deeper. If the number was a little deeper, then I probably would have jumped on it. But yeah, you get in so much trouble off the tee here. So I had to pass.
You can, but I think the ability to maybe hit less than driver sometimes might help him. If the weather does get pretty bad, it turns it a little bit up and down game. He still has that. I wish his iron game was a little better, but yeah, you can get a
He
top
can up
20.
and down from anywhere.
Oh, you get a top 20 on him, 2-1.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I thought we were just
That-
talking outright.
That's where I landed on him. So,
Yeah.
Kenny, how about Shane Lowry? Hasn't played in a couple weeks, but good links history. He's starting to train with the irons and putters. Any interest on him as far as a positional or DFS this week?
I'm never a Lowry guy. I mean, we'll have to see for DFS. I mean, if it's going to be like 6% on, then maybe I'll take a flyer on him as a pivot off somebody who's going to be super popular. But he never really interests me anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because he doesn't win.
Well, he didn't win for the Open in 2019.
And how long ago was that, Steve?
All right. Well, Brian Harman never won either. And what happened there?
Brian Harman sold his soul to somebody because that was egregious. Listen, a blind squirrel finds a knot every once in a while, and that's fine. Like, it is what it is.
True. All right. Let's go above 50-1 here. Kenny, who are some longer shots that you bet to win the 2024 Open Championship?
I started with Sungjae. I got him at I got him at 60-1 with 8 places. Again, his majors hasn't been great here, but he has a top 20 at the Open Championship in the past. His form has just been supreme outside of the majors. So at some point in time, I would think, for the Koreans that are out there right now, this is the major I think that are most likely to win. So I really like a really sneakier play. If we get to triple digits, I'll go back to him. But
come on,
I like the Koreans. I could see why Tom is that popular. Tom and Hatton just missed my card. I went other options instead of them. But Sungjae 60-1, eight places, and then I got Clark 75-1 with 8 places.
Who's the triple digit that you were talking about?
Triple digits. I like Siwoo. I think if Siwoo is going to win, like I said, if any of these Koreans are going to win a major, I think it's going to be the Open Championship. And Siwoo can get 140-1 with 8 places. The last few times he's been out, he's been sort of mid, but 26 his last time out, really strong in the beginning of the year, especially when they played more difficult courses. And then talented around the green, super accurate off the tee. I just sort of like him this week for some reason, and then the number stuck out to me at 140-1. It's not like he's immune to winning big time events. He is the players' champion. That's one of the guys I like. I'll be rocking a lot of it, and I'm not even talking about my boy Benny On.
I know. Is that the autographed one that you got?
Yeah. It was so money. Thank you, Ray, for this because he hooked it up. It was dying to get this hat.
I will say that like Kenny picking Koreans to win needs a disclaimer. Like I need angry golfers who break their clubs to win, right? Like I just pick these guys because they're my people. Right? Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I love Siwoo this week too. I've always been a Siwoo guy. I've actually been disappointed. I missed the roller coaster. Like he hasn't even really been a roller coaster.
He's steady now, man. He just makes cut after cut after cut after cut.
Yeah, and he doesn't give me a sweat. Like it's just like, oh, top 20. Like I missed the roller coaster. I missed the first round to ejection on Sunday and me being angry. Like at least I like to feel it. You know what I mean? Like give me some feeling, But yeah, so I couldn't get him 141, but he's 115-1. And I took Siwoo as well. Okay. I took Wyndham off my card this morning. I cashed out and took like, I don't know, $3 loss or something like that. Just because the same reason that I was picturing him missing right here and Steve terrifying me with all these horrible things that can happen off the tee on Saturday night. And so I took him off my card, which is probably good news for you, Kenny. But because it was the same thing. I mean, this man gets no fucking respect from the books. He's winning an elevated event and a goddamn major. And he's down with losers at fucking anywhere between 50 and 70.
He's one good session with his therapist away from winning. Right? I mean, like 100%. His therapist gets him in that. That woman made so much money from Full Swing. So much money from Full Swing.
Okay. All right. Well, I joined you on Sungjae as well. Again, fits the theme of just iron play has been really good the last month. The putting has been really good. Again, just taking a blind resume for a lot of these guys just fits that type of guy who's won the Opens. Don't really care who it is. And then two guys I went with are pretty gross. Corey Connor's been playing a little better lately. The putter's been very up and down.
Is it Valero this week?
It's not Valero.
Is it Valero this week?
It's Valero, but he's got top 15 at an Open before. The iron play has started to get a little better. He dipped a little bit, but he's a good iron player, accurate. The putter has been a little up and down, but he's had a lot of good spike weeks. Putt really well last week. So, and if you look at like the data golf course, like his profile, it looks very much like Stenson's as far as what he's good at versus what Stenson was good at back in 2016. So I like that. I got him at 90-1. And I would absolutely not bet this number where he is right now. And Cap, you're going to yell at me again, but Aaron Rai 90-1. I just went my system. Idiot. I know.
You got to be kidding me. You have to.
I'm not kidding.
Like, why?
Because
I don't even understand why. It's a bad bet. Data Golf literally put it out and said he's going to win the Open. Data Golf is, I don't know.
I bet it because I bet it. I
think
bet
of the biggest bush it's times 10.
I bet it before the Data Golf stuff. I went with he's riding a hot putter,
cash it out,
riding hot irons. I can't. I'm just going with that. I'm not betting positional because he's probably going to blow up in everybody's faces. But I'd
rather bet him fucking positional. He's got a better chance of finishing top 20.
All right. I'm just going with I'm going with my system. I don't give a shit what you said. I said before the show, I don't care what you think. This is what I noticed, and I went with these guys. Honestly, though, I like the Wyndham Clark pick because his irons are also trending, and he's putting pretty well. And the Siwoo pick.
God damn it. Do I have to put it back on my card now?
So, Wyndham, honestly, I probably should have bet Wyndham instead of Aaron Rai. But say a lot.
All right, I'm getting back on Wyndham Clark. Fuck it. Pete, go bet Wyndham. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, 75-1. I think you could still get close to that number now.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just take a write-off on Aaron Rai and just bet Wyndham Clark and just call it a day.
So, well, if that happens, Rai's going to win, right? One of us has to bet Rai.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'll still have it. I just won't get the tout cash. I won't get the tout cash for it. But all right. Any other like bombs? Anybody you like down the card for long?
I bet Badia. Like,
you bet Akshay?
110-1. Fucking listen, it's 110-1. The kid's playing good. If he didn't 3-putt, he would have had what 2 tournaments in the last fucking 3 months. You get hot with the putter. Worries me a little bit with the. Seems like he can get right a little bit, and he gets the ball pretty high, if I remember correctly. But listen, I don't give a shit. It's 110-1. I like the kid, and listen, I'd rather bet him than these other fucking losers down here. So yeah, fucking Seb Straka at 100, Homa at 100. The guy can't hit a golf ball. Fucking Ryan Fox.
You're not allowed.
Bezadenhout is the same price as fucking as Badia. Bezadenhout hasn't sniffed a win in 25 years, and he's still somehow always DFS dialing, and people bet him outright for some ungodly reason.
Okay. All right. Anybody else down here you like for like long shot positional bets at all?
I got a couple long shots on the card at 250-1.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about them then.
I like Victor Perez.
Okay.
250-1 with 8 places. He shows up in like random situational. The Canadian Open, wasn't like a cakewalk. It was a pretty tough course. He went ahead and finished third there with a memorial finish with, the whole crew. Finished 13th, had a good finish last week at the Scottish with a pretty good, he looked good with his irons. His around the green game is always sketchy, but, just at 250-1 with 8 places. I can get behind him. Another guy who finished top 5 last week, Lynn Gaskew. Why the fuck not? He finished like 3rd last week at the Scottish Open. It's basically the top of the field the same except for Scotty. Coming out here, see if he can ride the Mo for 250-1 and see if I can get a placement with 8 places on it. So I just threw those 2 out there, mostly for the each way. Because the each way, of course, I don't know, Cappy, so you're not familiar. The 8 places is going to pay way better than the top 10 would.
Okay.
So that is why a lot of people eat the each way, because you're getting much, much better odds. So he's 250-1, it'd be 5-1. You get 50-1
Top eight?
a top 8 finish,
Fuck.
basically. So you get 50 to 1 for a top 8 finish. And
I almost think
top
it's better
10
I don't have access to these things.
Yeah, well, it did basically make it so I bet like 1.5 times more than I did before. So, but I am, of course, winning more because possibly
Right.
with the each ways. So
Yeah.
And so, it sort of evens out. But like, I don't even know what you can get for a top 10 for Langascu. I think right now is, nothing's 50 to 1. Well, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's less than 50 to 1 is where he's at. It's like 20 to 1 right now.
Okay. Couple guys. I also like another Frenchman. I like those 2 Frenchman picks. I think actually the low Frenchman might be pretty competitive this year. I think actually at the PGA between Pavon and Perez, I think they're both like 8 over and felt like, dueling it out for a low Frenchman. But how about Mathieu Pavon? I know it didn't go well for the Scottish Open, but the Renaissance Club is completely different than what they're going to face this week. And before that, Travelers, Pinehurst played really good. The iron play, even though it wasn't really great last week, overall it's been pretty solid this year. He's a good putter. He's been driving it fairly accurately too. So I like Pavon. And then Matteo Montecero.
Pavon's the new Siwoo capper.
Yes.
If you're looking for another Siwoo replacement.
Oh, I know. I like
that's Pavon.
Oh, dude, listen, I hear you. Like when me and Steve were at Augusta, he was my guy. Like I was talking him up the whole time. And I fucking listen, any shorter, muscular guy who could just hit the ball a mile, my type of guy.
You go. Yeah,
He'll
you
get
get him
you
for
a top 10 or he'll miss the cut by 8.
Yeah, you can get like top 20 on him, like 5 to 1. So I think that's pretty good considering he's shown up in majors and he won Torrey Pines. Like in big time events, he can show up. And then Matteo Montecero, he was the phenom, 10 years ago, lost his way, but he's been playing really good golf over the DP World Tour, played well last week. You can get him as high as 12 to 1 for a top 20. So I like him as well for this week as far as like long shot positionals. So Capri, got anything else? Any other plays?
So, I'm going to be doing a bunch of first round leader and up to like first round leader top 20s. I've spotted some 3 balls that I really like. So I'll parlay some of those with some lottery tickets on fucking Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put everything. I love Morikawa. Morikawa at minus 110 for a top 20 seems like a very, very, very solid play. Seeing how I feel like he hasn't finished outside of the top 20, and I can't even tell you. So I really like that one. I hammered that one earlier. I think I took Russell Henley at 9 to 1 for a top 10 or a 20.
Yeah, it's gotta be a top 10.
Yeah, top 10. Yeah, for Henley. I listened to Andy, and he sold me on him because he's a loser. He's not going to win, but he could top 10. So yeah, I mean, I'll be so overexposed on this card because it's like the last fun event that I can think of for a while. So I'll shoot my wad and I'll have a pretty big card as far as like positionals, matchups, first round leaders, things like that.
Okay. All right. Kenny, thank you for joining us on the show. Appreciate it. Good picks tonight. Tell us where we can find you. Where can everybody watching or listening hear you or read anything from you, going forward?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Kendo VT. You can find me on the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast on the Mayo Media Network. You can Apple, iTunes, YouTube, all that good shit. And then you can find me at gupscorner.com for my written stuff.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Capper. Take us out.
All right, that's it. So we'll be on the mothership at 11:30 Eastern time when we make fun of Sean and Ryan for their lack of golf knowledge. By 11:30, I'll probably be drunk, so you can tune in for that. Other than that, man, it's the fucking Open. I'm stoked for it. Either stay up late, wake up early, enjoy some golf, and listen. Pro tip: listen to the British Radio Open. Like, listen to the Open Radio. It is so much better than any coverage that we get here in America. They break balls, they insult players. It's the best thing you'll ever listen to as far as a golf broadcast goes, especially if you only listen to the vanilla American broadcast where everything is good, everything's a tough shot, and this bullshit. So go listen to Open Radio, enjoy it. Let's cash some more big fucking tickets going into the doldrums of summertime. And that's it. Let's go.